All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division where there's rumors abounding around Terence Crawford vacating the IBF and the WBC belts, which will set up a fight between Thurman and Jaron Ennis. I've been asked about this a lot of times, so we're going to do a video about it, and I will let you know what I know to be the current state of that matter. Let's talk about it in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in my favorite weight division, the 147-pound division, the welterweight division, which has been my favorite weight division for a long time now. Historically, it's not. That would, of course, be the heavyweight division for me. But throughout the time that I've watched boxing, which has been since the 1970s, yes, I will date myself, but dang near lifelong fan of the sport of boxing. Since as long as I can remember, I've been a boxing fan. The welterweight division has been the number two division in boxing for me, with the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard, Felix Tito Trinidad, Thomas Hearns, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather Jr. The list goes on and on. Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford. Now we've got this young man coming up, Jaron Boots Ennis. We have Thurman and Danny Garcia, just on and on and on. A lot of really, really good fighters have come through that division. And it has, over that time, always stayed at the forefront of my mind. Well, we are now seeing a changing in the guard in that division, where the people that have dominated that division for the last 6-10 years, ever since the retirement of Floyd Mayweather Jr., now look like they're moving on. So still a lot of interest for me in what is going to happen next. And obviously for a lot of other people there are as well. Some people had made mention to me of some information that is going around about Terence Crawford having dropped the belts for the IBF and the WBC, and how that is going to set up a fight between Thurman and Jaron Ennis for a unification bout. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean a great deal. Now, so let me do this to my Terence Crawford fans. The supporters of this channel who are Terence Crawford fans, my guy Chillville, Jeffrey Brooks, bunch of other dudes that are big Terence Crawford fans that come through all the time. Dedicate this video to you, because I definitely do love the conversations that we have. But here's the thing. There's a lot of speculation and a lot of misunderstanding out on YouTube, because a lot of times I think people or try to do what is a reasonable thing to do, which is kind of guess at what is going to happen next. And if you look at what's going on, the proposition that is out there, which is that Terence Crawford dropped these belts and that does set up a fight with Thurman and Jaron Ennis, is something that I would put into the plausible category. By that, I mean it could happen. It's plausible. It could happen, right? Not probable, but now part of it is probable. The other part is plausible. Neither one of them are actual, from what I know at this point in time. So, what do I mean by that? Terence Crawford having dropped the IBF and the WBC belts, having actually vacated those belts. If that had been the case, this is my look on it. If that was actually the case, that would have been publicized by the WBC. That would have been publicized by the IBF. It would have been publicized by Boxing Scene. It would have been publicized by ESPN. That stuff would be all over the place that he dropped those belts. Now, why would people make the assumption that he dropped the belts? Because he's going to fight Errol Spence Jr., that exercise clause was that rematch clause was exercised. Now, here's the thing, though. Errol Spence Jr. exercised his rematch clause. But according to the reports that are out there, the weight class is actually up to Terence Crawford to decide. So Terence Crawford won't drop his belts until at least they have come to an agreement over what weight class the fight is going to be in. And seeing as the fight is not up until December, it's not more than likely not going to be until December, Terence Crawford is not somebody that makes decisions very quickly. That I've seen. The fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, the negotiations for the contract and all that probably won't be for a while. And Errol Spence reactivated his rematch clause maybe 5 days ago. So considering the fact that it's not publicized by anybody in either, that I'm talking about specifically these people. It's not publicized by Boxing Scene. I looked and checked Boxing Scene. They didn't put that out there. I looked to check just at the WBC website. the WBC Twitter page, and I didn't see anything about it by the WBC. I don't think that is actual. I think people are probably just making that assumption. Now, I definitely have a problem with the notion that this sets up, even if Terence Crawford dropped those belts, that would set up a unification fight with the WBC and the IBF titles, because it wouldn't. And I'll explain that to you why. One part of it could. That is Jaron Ennis, right? Jaron Ennis would immediately become the IBF champion. The WBA, which Stanionis is the regular champion of, that would set up an immediate unification match, but not Keith Thurman for the WBC, because he is the mandatory for the WBC, but they're having a title elimination fight taking place between Yordenis Ugas and Mario Barrios on September 30th. So that title eliminator is going to be the one that fights Keith Thurman, not Jaron Ennis. So the likelihood that it's Keith Thurman, it's possible that it could be that they could just say whatever and just automatically eliminate these guys from what they would call the title eliminator, right? And then say, okay, yeah, he's just going to elevate him to champion. But the WBC, since they have a title eliminator and Keith Thurman is not the interim champion. If Keith Thurman was the interim champion, then boom, he can go right up. Just like Jaron Ennis being the interim champion for the IBF means he goes right up if Terence Crawford vacates. But no, more than likely, if Terence Crawford vacates, which he very well could do, and I do anticipate him doing eventually, right? Whether or not but it's not going to happen until he decides, and it's up to Terence Crawford what weight class that rematch is going to be at. Now, I expect that he'll go up to 154, that he'll allow that to take place, because, that's not unreasonable for Terence. If Errol can't make the weight, Errol can't make the weight, right? And I'm sure he'll do it. He's already intimated that he would do it. But that doesn't mean he's already done it. And as far as Keith Thurman, probably not, because of the way that organization, the way that with the specific title that he has and the way that the WBC has done it. And more than likely, Keith Thurman would rather take a fight with Yordenis Ugas or Mario Barrios rematch than he would right away going into a fight with Jaron Ennis. The more feasible thing is Jaron to fight Stanionis, because that is an immediate. If Terence Crawford drops those belts, that is an immediate unification fight, because Stanionis immediately becomes the WBA champion. Immediately. There's not going to be a super champion, and Jaron Ennis automatically becomes the IBF champion. That's how I see the situation playing out. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.